has to.
Looks like he's just going with Loam Lava.
Wow, terrible decision. It was a bad pack for him.
So here's a colorless mana in Crumbling Vestige. Immobilizer Eldrazi, Reality Hemorrhage if he wants to be red.
You can probably go to the front. I mean, it is a ramp spell, right? It is helpful. Effectively. Getting his baddies a little faster. And now turn on the drones. Immobilizer Eldrazi, so it's a really good fit for his deck, too. Like, he wants to say, no, you can't block with your 2/3 or 1/4. Either pick would be reasonable. He doesn't know that he's red. So maybe that edges the color up. And he also does know that he has multiple cards that would like to take advantage of that colorless mana.
Yeah, so Hedron Crawler it is. Stalking Drone just got better. Loam Lava, Hedron Crawler. 1 power from the first 2 cards. Jawara Avenger, Prophet of Distortion. There's Ailey Eternal Pilgrim. Expedite, Spawnbinder Mage. The 1/4 Vampire Envoy. Another Reality Hemorrhage. McKinley Soothsayer, so that's 4/4 if you get to Cohort. No.
And that Reality Hemorrhage, it's like it comes with a Boulder Salvo. It's like if you're going to black, you're sort of down the Boulder Salvo.
Zulaport Chain Mage, another Soothsayer.
Okay. Definitely take the next Soothsayer, right? Doesn't that just become your plan? 4/4 body, too.
I mean, his very first pick of the draft was Hissing Quagmire, which helps.
Oh,
being
good point.
green
I
and
forgot
black,
about the Quagmire.
right? Because that was
You're
just
right.
yeah.
Jane,
You're totally right.
Another look.
You asked for it.
So Kindness Cloak, there more of Kozilek. What's that black card out the back? It's another Zulaport Chain Mage. Seagate Wreckage did lots of good work yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you see that going down in value in draft?
I mean, a little bit, but it's still, it's a source of C. It is a lot better than Wastes. It is a lot better than Unleashed.
Right. So down, but by no means not good.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not desperate for C, so he's going to take, another ally, right? He's sort of moving into this cohort strategy as his mid to late game plan.
Yeah, and if you didn't get the message, Zulaport Chain Mage is a lot better than the 4/2/4 makes it look.
Ooh, Kozilek's Translator.
Yeah.
There were some late Kozilek's Translators in the first pack, actually.
I mean,
They've been flowing a little later in the draft.
I mean, they're not super high impact when they arrive. They're a turn, assuming you don't accelerate.
I mean,
a
the
turn
body's not-
5/3/5.
Yeah. It's not spectacular, but it's still decent.
Yeah.
At 3/5.
That's where
that's
he's
what he goes
going.
with. Yeah, in fact, he's one of the guys who's in the best position to take advantage of the fact that you can activate that both on your turn and on the opponent's turn. I mean, he did so much work fleshing out his 2-spot that he can actually take, 5-drop, 5-drop, 4-drop, 4-drop, and not feel too bad about his curve.
Right.
5 seconds.
Yeah, whoever took the Ailey Eternal Pilgrim further down is going to be quite disappointed in John Stern hoovering up all these animals. So, Pathfinder, Untamed Hunger, another Vine to the Recluse.
I would Vine to the Recluse here.
Okay.
I think it's good enough that you can play 2 of them. I don't mind having 2 combat tricks in there. There's enough combat. The thing is, there's enough combat tricks in. Black has a good 1-mana combat trick. Red has a good 2 mana. White has 2 mana. You kind of want. You get in these fights where I have a trick. Oh, I have a trick. Oh, I have a trick. That's gonna happen. You're gonna have combats where there's 3 combat tricks flying around. So, I think it's all right to have 2 in your deck.
Kozilek Shrieker here.
Sure.
Is thinking about the Bonesaw maybe.
I think this is
That's
an
just
easy Shrieker.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people think Wall of Resurgence is very powerful. I think it's good. I don't think it's, oh my god. Go 6 in it.
Yeah. Another Witness the End. Another Zulaport Chain Mage. There's got to be a number of those that's too many.
Yeah, there is. I don't know that he's going to play the 3rd, but he's going to draft it. So I'm going to take out of this pack. He did pull that Witness of the End late in the last pack, too. That's available.
Want it?
Probably a
God.
But I mean, there are matchups where they'll want to side it in.
That
Wow, Vampire
I'm
Envoy.
just going to say that's so what you want there. If only he could find one, and there it
Is
is.
that guy supposed to still be in the pack with 4 cards left?
I
I mean,
would.
it's not amazing, but he turns off so many of the synergies.
Yeah.
I guess Black's just wide open, and John made a good read.
And there's
Yeah, Black is just wide open on his left.
So we're going to head for Battle for Zendikar.
It's funny, my
now.
Drago Auxiliary pit speculative first pick would not have worked out at all.
As it
John-
happened.
And now, John may also have the Lone Larva in his sideboard. But we'll see. It's not like he even has a waste to go get yet.
But now the interesting thing is now we turn our attention to what we should say is the old set, but it's so different in the way that it drafts. It almost feels like a new set. Here's Battle for Zendikar coming up, where we know that air quotes Green is terrible. And we know that he will therefore be looking to black, and he's looking to allies. And there are plenty of black allies around, and allies that players aren't that excited. Kana Assassin, Calastrian Nightwatch. Now, he doesn't have...
Yeah, no life gain synergies.
No. That's what the Yondu War Cleric exists for. That's the black-white deck. But it'll be interesting to see what he can pick up. And obviously, even though there's only one pack, you still have the chance of opening up a Tajiri Warcaller. You have the chance of a Tajiri Beastmaster. Allies, +1/+1. Those still exist in green. So green is not off limits to John here.
Yeah, the
in
Warcaller
Battle
is
for Zendikar.
great.
Yeah.
Warcaller would be spectacular for this deck. And it can float, right? He got past a Seed Guardian, so he's got reason to believe he will not explode. And green, right? You still do have one pack of battle.
So you see at the top end, Martin Goldman Kirst in the purple top there.
Speaking of former Grand Prix Vancouver top 8 competitors.
Right, and also just coming off a Legacy top 8 at Grand Prix Seattle Tacoma. 3-2 Johnstone, Mike Disney Handyman, Steve Leeming there over the top of Neil Ridley over the top of Shuhei Nakamura. You'll see every card from his draft, the Hall of Famer, later in the morning.
Martin's very much like the local.
Yes.
Right, he's from Seattle. You can see the University of Washington sweatshirt, purple W. You know, Vancouver, Seattle, Tacoma, like any driving distance.
Yep.
Not just ECQ, but there are.
Yeah, he's in great shape. I mean, he was 99 overnight. Just to fill you in on this top table, the way it works is that we have 6 players with a perfect 9-0 record. Alan Sun, John Stern, Chris Hewitt, Ben White, who was the runner-up in the Rookie of the Year behind Justin Cohen, Han Lee, and Nick Slim. Then you've got Martin Goldman Kirst, who's also undefeated. Somewhere along the line, he had a draw, which is kind of weird in Limited, but I guess we did see some super grindy games.
Yeah,
so he has the draw. And Shuhei is the lone 8-1 at this table because he ended the day in 8th place, which is following off, who's also at 8-1 from Germany overnight. He's the first player on Pod 2. So here we go with the third pack. The last table in the draft has caught us up. Maybe there was a card missing in one of the packs, so they just held the draft for a moment or two. But we're back in sync with the rest of the room, and that materializes pack 3. It's time for Battle for Zendikar. Right.
I feel like you can root for uncommons without losing any karma points.
Well played.
So we have Earthen Arms, Sludge Crawler, Demon's Grasp, Snapping Knowledge, Brood Monitor.
Alright.
Set of Grove Tender
You
Druid.
saw the flash of foil from the back of the pack, and we're like, what is this rare? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's the Veteran Warriors.
Yeah, green white. Gnarl's better than Brood Monitor.
Who knows what secret will
One is he's got a ton of twos and no ones. I don't know. Sludge Crawler just doesn't feel as good now. I'm not quite sure why that guy's gotten so much. I guess there's just not quite the aggro devoid strategies. Snapping Gnarl is good though. I mean, it's obviously very good magic card.
powering up? Portals online.
Probably got 2 more cracks at a Tajiri Warcaller. At that point, you'd think somebody's just going to hate it, even if they're not taking it.
Yeah, the green wasn't flowing so much to let him think he's the only green mage.
Tajiri Beastmaster, that's a start. Natural Connection, Unnatural Aggression, Seek the Wilds. Geyserfield Stalker, no.
Dry pack.
My shield
The second
for
pack is
Argus!
faster. It's okay. You're hoping to take that guy.
I'd be interested in a bit of removal with unnatural aggression.
It is. It's an ally too, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's an
Oh
ally.
yes. And he can certainly hope for multiples of those, rounding out his curve.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good fit. Maybe I'm thinking that's a disappointing second pick, but it fits his deck super well. He's got the cohort shenanigans. He's got ally triggers.
There's a blight further there, another Seek the Wilds, and there, right at hiding at the back of the pack, again one of
We
those
have many secrets.
mid-ranking, doesn't do a lot allies, but we can expect to see him hoover up
He
a
doesn't
few
really
of
have
those.
any way to turn on Blight Herder, right? Yeah, he's got no random exile effects, so I think that makes Ornery's Invoker pretty clearly better. Oh man, you wish that was an ally.
Yeah.
So many options.
Oh, it's Blofeld.
So pick 4, Swell of Growth, Nissa's Renewal.
Isn't it?
Card that was kind of designed to help you get towards Eldrazi.
It's the
at
guy who
some
played
point.
Blofeld
There's
in the
one
Bond
of the
movie
black
we
allies,
watched.
it's Calastria Night
Don't
Watch.
you think? You don't agree?
No real way to gain life currently, and
It's a disappointing pack.
Is he taking this as renewal
Yeah.
and playing with it?
Choose two.
That surprises me because
Well
I can't see why you would particularly play that in a deck like he's currently got.
You know how good Marwood gets when you play that game?
Okay. And wait, if I get to 12 mana, I can do it twice. Okay. That was a joke, boys and girls at home. I know that's not a good plan. Lifespring Druid gets you any colour of mana. Tajiri Stalwart can send you towards 2/3 colours. Giant Mantis, just the 2/4 reach for 4 mana.
Yeah, the thing is, the 7 life is enough life to actually kind of sometimes be relevant. 3 basic lands, yeah, it is. Sometimes the landfall matters. Sometimes you're trying to accelerate to your, like,
So
7 or 8
many
drop that you have in your deck. He could still get past a Ruin Processor or something.
Sure.
Something even a
Blighted
little bigger.
Woodland. Sludge Crawler Bloodbond Vampire. Part of the black-white deck
Yeah.
traditionally.
mistakes
Black-white
were
deck.
made.
There's a lot of parts floating around. I'm not sure they all assemble themselves. I'm not saying that was good. Like, put 3 lands into play was a good card.
No, no.
It's supposed to take out of the pack.
Sure. Now, the fact that he's taking Bloodbond Vampire there, that's 2 Sludge Crawlers he's decided no thank you.
Yeah.
So that does seem to imply that he's just not that big a fan of the Crawler.
sounds right. I guess he doesn't really plan to have the mana lying around.
Bone Splinters.
Yeah. Bone
Surely
Splinters.
that seems
Yeah,
pretty
that's gotta be the
straightforward.
picture. He's got 1 Scion Summoner.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have a lot of disposable creatures, but doesn't even have to be disposable creatures. Sometimes they have a giant thing and you want it dead. And
Or even a small thing with the words tap, cohort, put a +1/+1 counter on all your team. Because I Bone Splinters the hell out of that guy. Munda's Vanguard, what a card to play today. Call the Silence here. He wants disposable creatures for Bone Splinters.
the Overseer's the best card.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun things to do with Nissa's Renewal,
Uh-huh. Yep.
Call the Scions over Bulge. I don't know if he has Scions, but he does have a Blown Splinters now. Doesn't really have support to take advantage of those 2 guys. Maybe acceleration's a little bit nice. Just too big.
Have we reached the point where Bone Splinters priced into Sludge Crawler? It is not.
I mean, at this point, you're like, I would opt from the side, like bring it against the red deck.
Takes it now. 5 cards
See, he didn't need
left,
to
so
take it the first time. It came out.
fair. Aggression. Reasonably fat things to do bad things with an unnatural aggression.
My shield for Argus! Hello there, welcome back to the booth here at Grand Prix Vancouver. That's Randy Bueller. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe, and we're coming in to round 2 of our draft here. We're early in the morning still, and round 11 of the tournament overall. I can tell you that we've got Sam Pardee and Gabe Carlton Barnes ready in the feature match area right now. Let's get down.
You want it, I got it.
I'll show them all!
Mind if I roll need?
Vancouver, Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Bueller, and we're ready to go for round number 11, where we've got Sam Pardee of Team Channel Fireball face-to-face, playing against GCB, Gabe Carlton Barnes, who's on Draft TDX. Is what he's looking for his team affiliation. I know there's a big group of drafters down. And, he kind of heads
I love how our notes on GCB say storyteller, troubadour, former coverage, mensch.
all true.
Indeed. Sam Pardee with a aggressive green deck. I don't know if you've heard this one before. It looks superficially kind of similar to what we just watched John Stern draft in the video.
Well
The deck
played.
that face-to-face
Well
just
played.
likes at this
I don't know.
point
I
in
mean,
the format.
Stern was playing a much more Zulaport Chain Mage black-green version.
Well, it turned into that. It was.
That's what he brought to the table that we watched.
Well, if you watch the draft, he started out taking stalking drones super high. And now I look at Sam Pardee's deck and I see 4 stalking drones in the list.
Sure. Maybe
I think these guys like stalking drone more than most of the other people in the room.
Yeah, it's just that's a different deck is what I'm saying. This is red-green something.
You asked
So
for
we'll
it.
have to see how this one plays out.
Protect the wild.
Well, Party's just going to rumble here, offering trades on trades. GCB's not going to take him up on the offer. The Shrieker's just going to sit there. GCB's on a what looks to be at least an aggressive color pair. It's on black-red.
Yeah, no, he is the Sky Scour deck.
You're right. He's got 3 of them.
3 copies of Sky Scour, a bunch of, mostly it's colorless creatures. He's pretty aggressive. He's missing a color, though. I don't know how bad that's pinching his hand. But, I mean, here we are, turn 4, and does have a color. To trigger the Shrieker, so a little bit of game here.
Is that our old friend Vile Aggregate?
It is our old friend Vile Aggregate. 4 mana, but Unknown Shores does, in fact, produce red mana.
Man, so, Vile Aggregate being an uncommon and only in 1 pack means you just don't see them around much, but holy smokes, when that card shows up Battlefield, the downside, in many ways, is that it's tapped and attacking as well, so it often just gets gobbled up.
But, I mean, the big thing going on here is GCB is like, you're attacking me with 3/2 into my 2/5. And there's that 1 green mana sitting over there.
Also the Lifespring Druid, so it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, GCB is like, look, you have a trick. You didn't just attack to downgrade your drone into a 1/1 ally.
Exactly.
I'll respect that you're up to something and just pick on it.
Racing down there for Gabe. So a quick start from Pardee has GCB down to 11 minutes already. But it's Gabe's turn. You can commit something nice, 5 mana spell creature to the board here and start stabilizing. It's like a Kozilek's translator here for Gabe, which is quite nice. It's going to allow him to attack for 3 and getting here. Less relevant than it used to be. Unknown Shores is going to get nabbed there. But the 3/5 is going to do a good job holding down the ground unless Sam can come up with a way to get through it. Eventually, Gabe's just going to have to put a blocker in front and draw out a combat trick if that is what Party's got going on.
For the wild.
I'm gonna do it. Pretty much. Suddenly, file aggregate doesn't look as big.
You're right. It's crazy. You know, Canopy Gorger's not. On the podcast, we call this keyword big. Gabe was in the tank thinking about what he wants to do. He's got plenty of options.
Well
What were
played.
you holding anyway?
Okay. Fight, maggot!
You win.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one of those played yet, actually.
We looked at the winning deck list from Grand Prix Nagoya.
No, we're going to actually go over that after this.
Leading by example.
Oh, interesting. Little lead in there. I'll keep my eye out for that. Unfortunately for Gabe, that does mean that he bricked on his transgressive mind. And so he's going to get to keep those.
Let the hunt begin for Doomhammer.
Make a big army here. It doesn't have a whole lot else going on. Still no colorless for the stalking drone. And even two decks that look quite assertive may have found a way to stall out here. We've seen this pretty consistently in Sealed, and I'm starting to wonder if it's going to be the case in Draft as well.
Are we actually stalled, or is Sam deciding how many creatures we attack with?
That could be the case.
I mean,
Look,
at least
he
Canopy Gorger comes in, right?
He could get in with the Gorger if he wants to.
He can turn it into an 8/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the question is just whether to also attack with drone and whether to move Captain's Claws. I mean, the drone, if it attacks and keeps the Captain's Claws, can turn 5 power.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to those 2 copies of Lead by Example.
Certainly force the issue here.
I mean, why not? Like,
Whoa, did he draw one from Marasa? He's just going to attack, just
Yeah.
straight up. Okay.
yeah, makes sense to me.
Greetings,
I don't
traveler.
think Gabe has any great blocks.
Well played.
I mean, he can pick off the ally.
Yeah, but he can just fire off these lead by examples here, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't think Gabe has any good blocks. Sam's
Yeah.
got him in a...
It's a little awkward that Gabe knows about them.
Sure.
Right? Like, this is going to be the big, you know.
If he double blocks, he can 6. But... Oh, he does that?
He does have a little mana of himself.
Right. Does GCB have an instant? That's the question.
Yes.
Translator is a mana, so he's got 4. 3 if he needs to cast a red spell.
I think that Sam drew a Green Warden of Marasa as well. I thought I saw one of those in his hand.
Huh.
We'll try to get a better look. He keeps his cards kind of close.
Did you bring some fish?
But of course.
He might have a trick. He's got the B instant +2 and regenerate.
He's got unnatural endurance.
That's
in
the
it.
only thing.
That
I
would be
think.
great here if he had that.
Tusk!
Block two. Sam doesn't have to throw out both his lead by example.
But of course.
The only thing nagging the fact that GCB knows about them, GCB knows that Gorger can be 8/7.
Yeah.
So why is GCB putting 6 power in front of the potential 8/7? Okay, and Sam just yielded.
Sam just
He was
passed.
just like, all right,
Greetings,
we're going to wind up
traveler.
trading.
Well
I can live with
played.
that. You show me what you're up to.
But of course.
But it does not work out well for him unless he has a green ward of Morass in his hand. That's how he can just make that play. Because, look, I mean, what ended up happening there is he got in a little bit of damage.
4, not 4. Yeah, 11 down to 7.
Am I
And
getting
You don't want to trade your 6 drop for a 1
like
mana.
for a 1 mana combat trick, yeah. But when you just get to fire that was a smart move.
To just pass.
To just pass there and just say, okay, I don't want to empty my hand out. Also, remember, any spell he casts there meant that he doesn't get to cast the Green Ward in this turn.
Precisely.
So,
I'm in so much trouble. I'm in such a card.
Quickly.
Now what?
Show them all!
Who knows what secrets will have jobs done?
Sam's at 14.
GCB's deck looks a little bit soft to keyword big.
I think you might be right.
It's like, I have a pair of 3/5.
Dogs out.
That's supposed to be that's
Supposed
big
to
enough.
shore things up, yes. Five
like-
power on Sam's
This is
side
my
of the
defensive 5 drop. What do you
Yeah.
mean you can just run him over?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Pace is slowed down a bit here for our players. Sort through everything.
Quickly.
Nope, now we've entered the counting phase here. Yeah, they're going to have to make sure that they keep the pace. This is still game 1. This is a critical turn here for GCB, so he's going to take a little extra time to get it sorted, but make sure to keep it moving.
Yeah, I see. He's got a Swarm Surge
Yeah,
in his hand.
Yeah, he does.
He's trying to figure out if he can somehow leverage that into a race scenario where he comes out on top.
Might be able to. He added 1
I think I
mana.
just have to clear. 5, 2, 5,
So
7.
he's gonna. It looks like he's gonna
Play
try to set up for a little bit
Totals
later.
Oh, it's so
with a
bad.
Havoc Sower here,
Sure.
and maybe try to set up a big swing the next turn.
Maybe I take him first. Anyway.
And now he paid a life with Transmitter instead of tapping.
Got the beast in my sight.
I don't know that it nets him much here unless he's got
Well, and if
another
it-
1 mana trick or something.
Well, it gives him access to 3 mana on Sam's turn is what it does.
Yeah, but the Sower takes
That
2 mana to
didn't
pump,
quite
so
hit
it
the
just
mark.
frees up 1.
Right.
So he's being, very mana efficient here.
He did have to pay a life for this privilege, though.
He did.
I mean, if he has another unnatural endurance, that'd be great.
He can use it on the Shrieker.
Sure.
Like,
Turn it into a
enough mana-
4/2.
Yeah, he can pump the Shrieker and the Sower in this scenario, so he has left those options open if he needs extra power on blocks. She very well may. I mean, the prospect of the Shrieker trading for the Green Ward, while not particularly advertising from a GCP standpoint, double block. He knows about the Levi example. It's getting really annoying from Gabe's standpoint at this point. And also the fact that last core didn't get blocked means that Sam's actually starting to get ahead with the core allies as well, and those can pick up those +1/+1 counters and get in for a ton of damage. I mean, if they both get through, Sam just wins.
Oh, wow, you're right. He can only get hit by one creature.
Lately.
Even a pair of 1/1s is 6. So he must block 3 different creatures.
Gotcha.
Like
Spring Druid stayed home so that Canopy Gorger could come back out. But
It looks like he has an instant he wants to play.
Grave Birthing?
Grave Birthing.
Grave Birthing.
It does get him an extra creature. GCB fighting for his life here. Now, I will say both players are at 9-1. So they're in a good position as far as the tournament goes. And even with a loss,
Job's done.
your life gets a lot harder with that second loss.
Yeah, 13-2. Some of them will make the top 8. Some of them will. GCB doesn't need the Pro Tour invite though. So.
He doesn't need it?
He does.
He
I'm
does
saying
need
he
it.
would probably be content to be 13-2 and just invited to Madrid.
He's going to block everything, it looks like. Oh, he's still thinking. Block like that. So now he's going to have to figure out if it's worth it to
My
throw
shield
the,
for Arga.
0-1 or both.
Well, the allies are both dying. Period. And Green Warden's getting chomped. Looks like is he better off just spending his mana re-summoning his dinosaur?
Gotcha.
All right, and it looks like Sam's decided just to pass again.
Yep.
This does result in the two cores dying and some trades happening. Ultimately favorable for GCB, but Sam can set the mana here and replay the Canopy Gorger to once again establish dominance. Remember, he also got the green one. So
Who knows
these
what
trades are like
secrets
slightly in
will
GCB's favor for the most part, but then Sam is following up with stuff that scales back into his favor. So back on you, Gabe.
Snap. Oh, come on. It's going to be the lowest power creature in my deck, practically. Okay, so...
into the breach.
Time for a little blood.
Piece of play so far.
Robots.
I respect it. You know, they have to make sure everything gets out, but a lot of kind of board stally big attack scenarios that require a lot of future planning from both players.
There hasn't been a turn where Sam didn't attack.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it a board stall.
Oh my
More
god.
like, I mean, GCB's trying to defend. He's trying to create a stall. But he hasn't gotten there yet.
That's true.
Yeah, crack it down.
Huh.
And it require a double block. So Lifespring Druid could trade. Oh, he could actually kill the Gorger on a double block. You can pump, because since you can pump the Gorger for every colorless mana that you have, he could have gotten it all the way up to 5. And in fact, he's done it. Yeah. I mean, if Sam had double blocked, GCB could have taken down both creatures, but instead he just takes 6 to the face.
Wow. And then GCB's plan is to go chump block with his 2 middle creatures there, and then attack for the win.
Swarm Surge and 3 pumps means Kozilek Shrieker can do
Well,
8 damage next turn.
yeah, and even though he doesn't have to chump with his skimmer as the board sits.
There.
And that's 2 automatically. And then if
Plus
you
the Swarm Surge, you have the
Swarm
potential.
Surge in, and that could be 4 on its own. And remember, if Sam is attacking you, that means that he's going to have fewer blockers, and the menace ability is great. Yep. So let's see, block. Yeah, this actually works out for GCB if Sam doesn't have something other than the
You asked
hand
for
win
it.
on the
I must
crackback.
protect
You probably got one
the
other card in
wild.
his hand, right?
Yeah.
On 3 cards.
Yeah.
Did GCB actually find a line here that
God,
works?
he may have.
I mean, the thing about keyword big is you can jump block.
You can chump block, totally.
No matter how big those guys are, if they don't have to trample or evasion of some kind.
And what GCB's line is doing here, which is really beautiful, is that it's minimizing the impact that those lead by examples can have here.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Sam realizes this, but if he just puts a bunch on the core
I can
ally,
see.
I guess all he
Get him
does
to
is
1.
turn off the translator. If Skimmer survives, let's go. Skimmer's gonna die. Yeah, no reason not to cast this. So 3. It's only 4 power.
Chump block, trade,
Thrall
chump block.
versus Jaina.
Yep.
Go to 1.
You asked for
And he
it.
needs to get all the damage in with the Shrieker. 3, 4, 5.
That's so it's only 5 now. He's 1 short. He needs to
Yes.
draw a colorless source. Because the translator
Yes.
died, GCB needs 1 colorless source to win this game with that
That's
Storm
right.
Surge.
Oh, he's so close.
Yeah, Sam played it well too. Both.
Sam's out of cards or out of mana.
It's too bad there wasn't a way for Cage to
Powering
silence
up.
him.
Portals
Like if either
online.
Silence Skimmer or Translator was alive,
Ready.
GCB could attack the winning goal.
For 7 right now, and he can't
Ugh,
quite
one
do
short.
it. Sam Pardee takes game
Wow.
1.
That was close.
Wow, wastes off the top for GCB, and it's GG. I wonder if Sam knows how close that really was. He probably does.
Powering up. Portals online.
Good and close there. Now these guys are already in two.
Yep.
Looks like they're just starting out though. Michael Bunde, and that's Florian, the chef. That's what I've been calling him.
The chef?
Yeah, Kochen means cook in German.
Got it.
I don't think he likes it. Every time I call through the stairs at me. Anybody who's met Florian will
What to
understand
do?
that, though. He's awesome.
Both players have brought their own basic. To the,
Love I respect Florian's choice of the sunflower planes
Well
there, but I
played.
gotta
It's
go with
very
Michael
pretty.
here. Yeah,
You're a beta man.
I'm a beta.
Something needs tinkering?
I also am particularly fond of the forest with the rock. He's
Yeah.
frozen here. I like that too.
I don't know that there is a good beta plane. Kind of. They're all very.
No, there actually
they're
are
plain.
differences,
They're
but
just very
they're-
plain.
Yeah, Jesper may have read it as plain.
Oh, here's shoulder to shoulder.
7.
Rumble.
Yeah. Friendly Science Summoner works out pretty well. By the way, we were talking about the Nagoya deck list. 3 copies of shoulder to shoulder in the winning deck list. Holy
Yeah, and now I'm really curious to see that deck.
it is sweet. It is one of the most interesting like GP winning deck.
2 hours ago. Yeah. Thank you. Anyways, I mean, it's kind of funny because at the beginning of this season, we were saying, oh, the games are going to be much faster. And then week 1, they were actually much longer than people were expecting, at least in North America. The point is, though, that all of a lot of the changes that were made in preseason, by the designers were with the goal of shortening the game times a bit. And you can set up the game so that it's easier to end. But if teams choose to play defensively and, no matter how weak the towers are, if they don't go and try and press in, then the games aren't going to be shorter. Now we are seeing teams take advantage of weaker turrets late game and trying to push for these earlier ends.
So there are definitely plenty of tools for teams to end the game with, but Freak, for the teams that are on the losing end of this or on the back foot here, what are their tools to get back into the game?
Yeah, so the 2 big things to sort of think about, League of Legends is complex, and you can use all your old tools for, League of Legends, but the 2 big changes that are different this year, above all else, are basically mid-game teamfights mean more, so like that 22-minute ace. Because death timers are longer,
so
that you can
there's
get
that
more
mid-game span between like minute 12 and like 37 where they're longer than they used to be. So losing team, you get that ace, you actually get to take a turret or Baron and then recall safely. So there's more room to play with if you win the fight. And in general, team fights are less snowbally for the winning team. Assist streaks are gone, so just if you happen to be 0-0 and 12, way less gold for you by just winning a bunch of team fights. And conversely, if you kill that guy who's 6-0, you just got 450 global gold, you know, combined for that kill, and there's even more if you kill the next time around. So the sort of mid-game team fights just realize that there's a lot more at stake than there was before, and pick those fights very closely.
And that can be contributing to the back and forth nature of the game.
All right, well, there you have it. Now it's time to go ahead and jump into our first game of the day. Team Liquid versus Team Impulse. Team Liquid have been much stronger looking than their record would indicate, and it's in thanks part to their new jungler, Dardoch. Now, we wanted to learn more about the man that I Will Dominate found and groomed to be his successor. Take a look.
Well, I was at a place where I didn't really have many options. Like, it was either like be miserable still in school or try and make the League of Legends thing work. That was sort of motivation to get to the level I am now.
I just ran into him in solo queue and I realized that he was actually a pretty talented jungler.
When we were looking for the jungler and Dom identified Dardoch, he said, hey, this guy looks really good. And then he kind of hands it off to me. And I start all of the more physiological, psychological background, will drive kind of questions to find out, is this the right person for the team? And that's how we were able to find Dardoch. Me and Dom's relationship's always been pretty good since our personalities are like similar. There's no like animosity between me and him. I think.
Yeah, I definitely see myself in a young little Dom.
When I first moved in, I learned almost everything from him. Like everything I could possibly take away from him positively, I took it from him.
I would just kind of go through just like different options that he had to just kind of like let him become his own player, because I'm not trying to train someone to play exactly like me.
I've got the beast.
I have my own perspective on the game, and he has a different perspective because he has different strengths.
I think Dom likes to be more calculated and sort of play around the team, but I'm pretty confident in my mechanics and like my knowledge on the champion, so I want to kill the enemy champion.
The flash burn, the cocoon predicted, and that's a dead yellow star. The Dardoch fight. What a cocoon right there.
I don't think I necessarily need to get to Dom's level or like that's my end goal. I just like want to be the best player I can be.
I think he definitely has potential to be better than me. As long as his mentality stays positive about the game, I think that he'll be able to get there.
I believe Dardoch has the components to be one of the best players in North America. You're going to see him as one of the NA rising stars.
There's clearly no lack of confidence from either the team or himself in terms of where they believe he can get to, but your two opinion on him as a jungler and what he's shown us so far.
Did you bring some
I think he's been actually pretty great. He's, I think since yesterday, he's been one of the pros, new pros that have actually activated pretty well on the stage. It's always a testament to the player, and Dardoch has passed the test so far. You saw him be super aggressive. He wrecked top lane in the previous game. Like, he made Lorlo beat Impact. If you told me that was going to happen from a rookie jungler, that's a rare trait to happen, but he made Lorlo beat Impact, and that's pretty impressive by Dardoch.
Yeah, I think he also has a really good sense of macro play and the game overall, and where to be, and that helps out a lot as being a jungler. Also, in tandem with him, though, is Matt, who also helps out with the macro play and shot calling. Hard yesterday was spectacular. He won them multiple team fights with some very well-placed ultimates.
All right, well, we'll see if a similar strategy can shut down teams like Team Impulse standout substitute player Seraph, as Liquid face the hottest team not named Immortals today.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Seraph and the rest of TIP now, as far as Seraph's playing with this week. It's weird that TIP's 3-2. They're tied for second right now, and it's like you have to let that sink in. We're 5 games in, and TIP are tied for actually pretty. Seraph in particular, of course, has done well.
Yeah, exactly. He's a huge part of this. As one of the subs for Team Impulse, he was one of the most valuable players. He had a strong performance on Lissandra as well as Fiora, and he's a huge voice in the team's communication, adding a lot to the shot calling and directing the rest of the team as he's split pushing. So he's really gelled well for being a substitute player.
Yeah, the whole team. It's been pretty impressive with Gate moving around to 3 different positions over 3 days. You bring Seraph in, you've got the Koreans now arriving. In terms of when you talk about gelling, it's really impressive that they've been able to make this many shifts and still operate well. And then, of course, we have Gate now landing in that support position. We'll see how he performs today. But let's be done here at the desk. That's enough talk from us. Time to send it over to the casters to get this match underway.
Thank you very much, Dash. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again. I am Rivington Business III, and riding along in my sidecar today is Joshua Jet Leesman.
Yeah, they say sidecars aren't very safe, but I trust your motorcycle skills.
We're going to be good here, I promise you. Let's get straight into our roster rundown for Game 1. It keeps us safer, and it keeps the action awesome. On the blue side, it's Team Liquid. That means it's Lorlo in the top lane, having a great game on Poppy last time. Dardoch in the jungle, Phoenix in mid on a different champion every game so far. Piglet at 80 carry on that Caitlyn recently, and Matt his Bard play on support, and Coach Loco Doco.
Yeah, and up against them, as they were just talking about, is the very surprising Team Impulse. Most people weren't expecting anything out of these guys, but they're sitting at 3-2. Yeah. A lot of that has to do with Seraph being 2-0 with this team in the top lane, Proxen in the jungle, Pyrian in the mid lane, who's only played a few games, Mash at 80 carry, and now Gate playing his third position of the season, but his intent is on support.
You can always rely on a little bit of Seraph or what Gate brings to the game in like an impulse moment towards the end. We were thinking about it yesterday, and it's like, yep, Seraph went off again, made a huge play, and the team was able to follow up.
Yeah, the end game plays that Seraph has made have basically ended the game instantly.
Yep.
When he's been able to do it. So we'll see if he can pull that off against Lorlo this time. This substitution for Seraph in the LCS, he has a higher winning percentage in the LCS than he currently has with TDK in the Challenger Series. So riddle me how that happened.
I don't know, you just step up. It's like when you get like yellow card or penalty and somebody's out, everybody on the team just steps up. It's one of those moments. We have a sub, we need to go hard. And it turns out that the sub just is going harder.
Yeah, and there's that whole nobody believes in us as well that can just self-motivate you. It depends what type of person you are, how you're going to react to nobody believing in you. Job done. But especially for players like Gate, they react very positively, and they just want to prove them wrong.
Yep. It's got to feel good, too, when that happens. Bard getting banned out here. Caitlyn as well, so Piglet and Matt getting hit right in the beginning for that bot lane. Yeah. Fiora gangplank scene for Team Liquid.
Definitely feels like Matt has more Bard games than pretty much anyone else. Would only take a few more before he'd get the undisputed best Bard NA title, even though that is in hot dispute, especially with people like Aftermu running around. Although he has been drawing bans starting now. We'll see how long that lasts.
And Italy gets taken out from Proxen, as we saw. Dardoch, he's been going Rek'Sai Elise. Which one are they going to take from him? Neither. Both are left up. The Lulu actually gets taken out, so it cannot protect Piglet in any way.
Very true, but there's still a lot of power picks left up.
Choose soon.
And something that has been getting banned against Dardoch in the majority of his games, and he hasn't gotten to play yet, has actually been the jungle Graves. It's something he actually picked up on faster than most people. The LPL over in China was seen as the first adopters of jungle Graves, but at that same week, Dardoch was playing it in the Challenger Series qualifiers. So he has been an incredibly fearful jungle Graves. He should have more mastery over this pick than most others that would have picked it up because he picked it up first, and it's a very logical first pick since it's been banned away so many times.
So much damage from Graves. It is insane, especially putting with some more 80 carries. We see Lucian getting picked up. We saw Immortals run a like comp yesterday, but that Graves was in the top lane. Here on tip side, what can they answer with? They have the Alistar to keep tanky. We've seen Graves take these Alistars out, though. It's a tough thing. The Rise, however, can really help Tip get into this game.
And I think the Rise is the big one. That's something that has been near 100% pick win across all regions for the majority of the year. We're a little bit behind in picks and bans because these guys are going very quickly, but it was a big trade of power picks there. Graves, Rise, Alistair, and Tom Kench. And even Lucian and Kalista, this is literally a who's who of the most picked champions worldwide that these teams are trading back for.
And what they want on the side of Impulse, they get that Kalista Elise, and they do. Piglet and Matt now to answer, and they're actually leaving Dardoch's jungle away for a while here, unless that Graves is going to be taken.
It's got to be the jungle.
Most will be.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a top laner because we've seen the top lane played, but it's very likely the jungle Graves.
More Bucks getting picked up as well. Both those picks offering bindings.
Yeah, and that's specifically when Lux is at her best, is when people can follow up on top of the Lux with a light binding, because generally a Lux full combo, light binding, and ultimate nearly one-shot someone, but then you're going to be throwing in Graves ultimate on top of it, and it is probably a kill whenever Phoenix can land a light binding and Lorlo is in range to follow, which is why those picks have very good synergy together.
Looks like he's going to stick with it. Phoenix on the Lux yesterday, 3, 2, and 14. Not huge, but the team was also scrambling a lot of that game to make things happen. See if they can get more control here. Impulse always loves the hovers. Gate, super jolly dude. He loves to please. It's going to be the Varus getting locked in. Tyrion will be firing from the mid lane.
Yeah, so a long-range poke AD champion here. They didn't want to over-index on magic damage since they were planning on running that Ryze top lane with the Elise jungle. So hard to really pin down exactly where this tip composition is going because they have elements of poke with the Varus, but also elements of just straight-up damage from the Ryze.
Well played.
Oh, no! To snowball this one most likely because you look at the Team Liquid team, and that's actually also a little bit strange because they have the 2 marksmen and then really the 1 true tank in the Tom Kench.
Right.
So we'll see some strange interactions this game. A lot of fishing for bindings, so to speak, from Team Liquid that they'll try and follow up. And that will just be whether or not Tip will be able to outpoke them or engage on them because both teams have similar goals here with poke and 1 tank.
Tip also relying, or not relying on, but leaving a window open where if they can just go 4, hold off things, be resilient, Seraph can get to a point where he'll be able to carry the game from that Ryze and just be a nuisance again. Always leaving that window open once they have Seraph in the roster, and it's a good one. Share with us, Esports, with the hashtag TLWin or hashtag TIPWin. We'll score your votes and check in just a few minutes. It'll be right over the inventory on the screen. The players, they love the back end. They love to hear what you have to say. Impulse, they haven't been listening to most of what the community's been saying. They have been kind of making their own path. And it's been a good one so far after the first few weeks.
The first week looked super rough for Team Impulse. Losing to Echo Fox when Froggen was playing and then getting perfect gamed in the fastest game in LCS history by Immortals.
Yeah, that's true.
Matt up was just to, I think he said Matt like proved that he's up here because he's just as good as LCS players. Like he's been performing pretty well.
He said himself yesterday in a great interview.
Played Bard and Alistair thus far. So we'll have to see how he adjusts to a slightly safer play.